Happy holidays. How was your trip? You had a great time with the girls?
I did. 4 days. My daughter was doing exercising.
I just have to ask you a quick question. I want to put my name in for council.
Better do it fast.
Here's my letters for all 4 E's.
Okay.
And do you mind giving it to the other gentleman?
Do it right now.
Okay. Thank you for taking it and entertaining it. And I'll always support you.
Say the pledge. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
roll call, please.
Supervisor Vecchio.
Here.
Councilman McCarthy.
Here.
Councilman Wareheim.
Here.
Councilwoman Noack.
Here.
And Councilwoman Inzerolla.
Here.
Okay. Mr. Woodham, will you read the Board of Water Commissioners?
Sure. Under Board of Water Commissioners, Town Board, Board of Water Commissioners, November 30th. Town Board of Water Commissioners to authorize the following. Increase in revenue accounts, the Water District in the amount of $574,000. Board of Water Commissioners to authorize the town clerk to advertise for a standby generator, 90 East Main Street, Kings Park, to be returned to Town Hall, Main Street, P.O. Box 646, Smithtown, 11 o'clock a.m., January 11th, 2018. Town Board to authorize the town clerk to advertise for a public hearing to be held at 2 p.m. on January 9th, 2018, Smithtown Town Hall, Patrick R. Becchio Building, 99 West Main Street, Smithtown, New York, to consider increased improvements of facilities of the St. James Water District.
Councilwoman Inzerolla.
Yes.
Councilwoman Noack.
Yes.
Councilman Wareheim.
Yes.
Councilman McCarthy.
Yes.
Supervisor
Yes.
Vecchio.
Tom, you want to start reading?
Sure. Under correspondence, we have multiple parade run walk permits, items number 1 through 11. Item number 9 would be the Building Department report for 2017. Nesconset Athletic Association, American Legion, Donald C. Morrow Post, Lawrence Margold Foundation, 5K, St. James Chamber of Commerce, St. Patrick's, Kings Park Chamber, Kings Park Festival, Elwood Comac VFW Post, Sergeant John W. Cook VFW Post, Ronkonkoma Rotary Run, Breath for Breath 5K, and Kings Park High School Color Run.
Anybody wish to be heard for or against the granting of those permits? No, we'll move on.
Item number 2, the town board authorized the town clerk to advertise for the following bids to be returned to Town Hall, 99 West Main Street, Smithtown, New York, at the dates indicated. Bid number 18-001, concrete curbs and sidewalks, returnable January 25th, 2018.
Councilwoman Inzerolla.
Yes.
Councilwoman Noack.
Yes.
Councilman Wareheim.
Yes.
Councilman McCarthy.
Yes.
Supervisor Vecchio.
Yes.
Under resolutions, the town board, after due study and deliberation, subject record, to issue a sequel negative declaration for special exception petition 2017-02 by Society of St. John for proposed assisted living facility dated December 6, 2017.
Councilwoman Inzerolla.
Yes.
Councilwoman Noack.
Yes.
Councilman Wareheim.
Yes.
Councilman McCarthy.
Yes.
Supervisor Vecchio.
Yes.
Town board to approve the following. A, minutes approval. Town board night meeting, November 30th, 2017. B, the town board to authorize the controller to loan cash funds from A fund to Fund H05. Engineering department to lease a copier. Authorization of Edward Wareheim and Thomas McCarthy to sign for various banks. E, extension of agreement with Wareheim LFG Services, agreement with Hounds for Town USA, agreement with Mine Safety Appliances. H, purchase a fire emergency response vessel. I, adoption of fees to be discounted by 50% for the animal shelter from December 13, 2017 to December 31st, 2017. J, a change order for a regional fueling facility at the Highway Department. Extension of bid 15-069, the sale of surplus materials. Town clerk to issue a parade run walk permit to American Legion Donald C. Morrow Post. Parade walk permit to Netherlands Athletic Association. Supervisor and the highway superintendent to enter into agreement with various school districts, fire department, and villages for use of town fueling facilities. Town Board to approve zoning petition 2017-02 by the Society of St. John for a special exception for an assisted living facility with related site improvements subject to conditions of the coastal consistency determination as per letter O of the agenda. P, scheduled meetings for the 2018 year per attached schedule. Q, adoption of 2018 vehicle lease plan. R, amendment to agreement with Messino Contracting for professional grant development services. Supervisor's office to lease a copier. T, rental rates for hired equipment for snow removal from the highway department.
Councilwoman Zarella?
Yes.
Councilwoman Noah?
Yes.
Councilman Wareham?
Yes.
Councilman McCarthy?
Yes.
Supervisor Vecchio?
Ms. Noack?
Yeah, 3, the town board to authorize the acceptance of the following. A, donation to the Senior Citizens Department, Mills Pond Club, check number 209 in the amount of $100.
Councilwoman Zarella?
Yes.
Councilwoman Noah?
Yes.
Councilman Wareham?
Yes.
Councilman McCarthy?
Yes.
Supervisor Vecchio?
Yes.
4, the town board to authorize the comptroller to execute the following. As per the printed agenda, A through AB, these are A, increase account, B, increase account, C, transfer from account, D, transfer from account, E, transfer from account, F, increase account, G, transfer from account, H, transfer from account, I, decrease account, J, transfer from account, K, transfer to account, L, transfer from account, M, transfer from account, N, transfer from account, O, transfer from account, P, increase, Q, transfer, R, transfer, S, transfer from account, T, transfer from account, U, V, W, X, Y, Z, AA, and AB, all transfers from accounts.
Councilwoman Zarella?
Yes.
Councilwoman Noah?
Yes.
Councilman Wareham?
Yes.
Councilman McCarthy?
Yes.
Supervisor Vecchio?
I think I'll vote against all those transfers.
Okay.
Okay, no, yes.
Number 5, the town board to authorize the supervisor to execute the following on a form approved by the town attorney. A, agreement with town employees permitting the volunteer transfer of vacation and or sick time to employee B4012AG and X in the Department of Environment. B, natural gas sales agreement with Agara Energy regarding town facilities.
Councilwoman Zarella?
Yes.
Councilwoman Noah?
Yes.
Councilman Wareham?
Yes.
Councilman McCarthy?
Yes.
Supervisor Vecchio?
Mr. Wareham?
Number 6, town board to authorize the release of the following. Release in cash and lieu and performance bond in the amount of $12,326, a planning receipt.
Councilwoman Zarella?
Yes.
Councilwoman Noah?
Yes.
Councilman Wareham?
Yes.
Councilman McCarthy?
Yes.
Supervisor Vecchio?
Yes.
Number 7, town board to approve the settlement of following matters per recommendation of the town attorney. A, Travelers Home and Marine Insurance Company versus the town of Smithtown. Estate of Joseph Howler versus the town of Smithtown et al. In the amount of $85,000.
Councilwoman Zarella?
Yes.
Councilwoman Noah?
Yes.
Councilman Wareham?
Yes.
Councilman McCarthy?
Yes.
Supervisor Vecchio?
Mrs. Ingerillo, do you want to read?
I can take those.
We have
No.
personnel matters.
Okay. The town board to approve the following personal matters. A, extend leave of absence for Brian Henricks from his position of building inspector. B, extend leave of absence for Joyce Butendera from her position of secretarial assistant in the office of the supervisor. C, reassignment of Christina Calavito from the planning department to highway. D, full-time appointment of Mary Lou Stana to the position of kennel attendant. E, termination of employee L5E GUD E95 in the Senior Citizens Department.
Councilwoman Nizzarella?
Yes.
Councilwoman Noah?
Yes.
Councilman Wareheim?
Yes.
Councilman McCarthy?
Yes.
Supervisor
I
Vecchio?
will vote yes after I find out what B is. Joyce, what is B? Are you leaving?
No.
No, it's just the extended move, so
Okay. All right. Just an extension of civil service. That's what Mr. McCarthy said, so I'll vote yes.
The town board to authorize the following amendments to the Uniform Traffic Code and authorize the Traffic Safety Department to install and maintain the necessary signs. Schedule G, stop and yield intersections. Schedule G, stop and yield intersections.
Councilwoman Nizzarella?
Yes.
Councilwoman Noah?
Yes.
Councilman Wareheim?
Yes.
Councilman McCarthy?
Yes.
Supervisor Vecchio?
Yes. Okay, John Kennedy and Leslie Kennedy.
And Rob Trotta.
And
Su-
Rob Trotter.
Supervisor Vecchio. I have lived in the town of Smithtown since 1958. You have been my supervisor for the entire 40 years. You love your town. You have always done what you thought was right for its people. I am proud that you have been my supervisor. I know that you will stay involved with the town. I know that you will put your 2 cents in at every opportunity you get, and I am glad that you will do that.
Thank you.
I thank you. There is no way to thank someone for true public service properly, but I thank you from the bottom of my heart. And on behalf of my 90,000 people and Rob's 92,000 people in the township of Smithtown, I present you with a proclamation.
Thank you.
Come on.
Mr. Supervisor, as usual, my wife pretty much sums up everything that we do feel, and both of us thank you. While she lived here from 1958, my father built a house up in Nisqually back in '71. We were transplants. We came from East Northport. But his 2 young kids who got married and raised a family here and now are blessed with 7 grandchildren, I can think of no other town that I would want to be in to have the life that you have been able to afford us, Mr. Supervisor. With your constancy, with your steadfastness, with your willingness to go ahead and above all else, be a voice and a clarion for the average working person here in this town. As a countywide official, I can tell you without reservation, Smithtown is the best town in all of Suffolk County, and it is thanks to what you have done, sir. Thank you for your service. And I get to give it to you on behalf of 1.5 million people. How's that?
Well, the controller's office has money, that's why you got a friend. Legislature has no money. Thank you, John.
Well, I know why Lynn came here, because this would have taken the county 4 days to get through. And to Pat, my neighbor, my friend, my mentor, my children, thank you. Because of you, we have no debt. This county is in such good, this town is in such good financial shape that it's all because of you and the people sitting up there. And I'm sure it will continue, because your legacy proves that it can be done. Because when any other town can't do it, you got it done. We have a surplus. We have no debt. And it lies right on your shoulders, and you should be a model for every other town in this country, the nation, the state, and certainly the county. So on behalf of my kids and every kid in this town of Smithtown, thank you, thank you, thank you.
Michael Kaufman.
Sorry about the way I'm dressed. I've been at a hospital with my mother for the last couple of days.
Sorry.
Mr. Supervisor, as you walk away today, you march into the history of this town and of this state. For 40 years, you have written the pages of government in this town. And no resident of this town, present or the future, can ever forget what you have brought to the table or what we will miss. In many ways, you completed the making of this town, making it a true example of a modern suburb. In 1970, this town was still forming. In 1980, this town was still forming. Well, we're a modern town now, and it's thanks to you and your leadership. And I think it's completely appropriate that Town Hall has been named after you, because for 40 years, you were the town. And I want to thank you for your service.
Thank you. Joanna Cervellino.
Good afternoon. I am here, and if my husband, the late Lieutenant Lawrence J. Cervellino, squadron leader in the United States Navy, were here, he would concur with my remarks today. First and foremost, I should like to thank you for your many years of service, your work with the New York Police Department, your service during the Korean War, which Larry was also recalled for the second time. And last but not least, your tenure as the supervisor of the town of Smithtown. I have lived here for 44 years, and you have created a prototype of a town to be emulated by many across the United States of America. And my children grew up in that safety. I thank you from the bottom of my heart. I have one further comment, and it comes from Abe Lincoln. In talking about the political system and our rights, he said we all have a right to the fair chance in the race of life, and you have done your share. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Rose Palazzolo.
Supervisor Vecchio, the first time I met you was when we were at the senior center, and the senior center committee had a breakfast, and it was for the new seniors who had joined the senior center. That goes back to 1994. And I said, oh, how nice. The supervisor is sitting down to have breakfast with the seniors. I couldn't believe it. And I thought, he really thinks a lot of us. And throughout the years, you have always made the seniors feel that you like us and that you are important to us. And I became president of the senior center, and I asked you to do something for us. And you said, Rose, I have to take care of the whole town, not just the seniors. And I thought about that, and I said, that's the best answer he could have given me. Because seniors are important, and lots of times we're the forgotten ones. But you have never forgotten the seniors. And that's why we will miss you. You come to all our installations, you're there, and you always make the seniors feel we love your jokes and we loved you.
Thank you. Linda Henninger.
Hi. I'm going to read a poem for you. I didn't write it. It's a good one, though. Who Robbed the Woods by Emily Dickinson. Who robbed the woods, the trusting woods, the unsuspecting trees, brought out their burrs and mosses, his fantasy to please. He scanned their trinkets, curious. He grasped, he bore away. What will the solemn hemlock, what will the fir tree say? Supervisor Vecchio, thank you for seeing the woods all these years, when so many people didn't, and so many still don't. Thank you for everything you've done.
Lee DeBacco.
Good afternoon, Supervisor and Town Board. I just want to thank the supervisor for everything he's done over the bunch of years I've lived here, and he really truly has made it a great town for me. And Rob Trotter, I think, said it the best, where it's a place that my kids are going to really flourish, and because of the foundation you put down, I appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Our esteemed Assemblyman, Michael Fitzpatrick.
Pat, I just want to say thank you very much for your service to our armed forces, to the New York City Police Department, and for 40 years as one of the finest supervisors in the entire state of New York. You know, there are two figures in my life that have had the most influence on my political career. One, of course, is my father, and the other is you. I had 15 great years.
Where's your father?
Right here.
Okay.
I had 15 great years seated on the board with you, and I remember not only the good times, but even some of the battles we had. And I look fondly at some of those. In fact, every time I see the water slide at the pool, that was the only victory I ever had. As anyone who served on the board, we know you didn't win too many battles with you, but that was one that I cherish, and every time I go down to the country club and see that water slide, I say, that was the one I got, you know. But I guess the best measure is, did you leave the town better than those before you? And the answer is absolutely yes.
Thank you.
Your record is outstanding, not only for the environment, for the senior housing that you've provided, but just, you know, the parks and the beaches. This is the best town in all of New York State as far as I'm concerned. And like many of us, we've traveled around the country and even around the world, and there are a lot of nice places to live, but there is no place finer to live than Smithtown, New York. And for the last 40 years, the reason for that has been you and the support from all of the board members that have served with you. So I just want to wish you the very best. All good things must come to an end. We know that. We don't always get to write the final chapter the way we want, but you've earned a great retirement, and thank you so much for everything you've done for all of us. Thank you, Pat.
Tony Tanzi.
Supervisor, he might not be here yet, but he does want to
okay.
speak.
Marlene Walke. Oh, boy. Oh, boy.
I've never been here before up at this dais, but anyway, I want to thank you too. But I want to thank you for putting up with me for 37 years as your secretary. I don't know how you did it.
You were easy.
No, it wasn't easy. But as your secretary, I did see firsthand how you always put the residents of this town first before politics. You worked so hard, and this town is going to miss you. But retirement is really not a bad thing. I'm enjoying it, and I think you will too. But I wish you a lot of luck.
Thank you.
And God bless.
Thank you much. Pastor Scott Nicholson of the Grace Church.
Supervisor Vecchio, I'd like to thank you
I've been here now almost 24 years, and you've always supported the houses of faith. You've always stood behind us. I think of the supervisor's prayer breakfast. That's something that you don't see at many places. And I'm so glad that you have decided, you know, you're going to do what's not politically correct maybe in today's day and age, but you're actually standing with what needs to be stood with, the values of the Judeo-Christian ethic, and I appreciate that. And as I think about you, and the reason I'm here today is there's a verse in the Bible out of the book of Psalms, Psalm 15, it talks about those who will stand in the holy place, and it says those who honor those who honor the Lord. And so I'm here today to thank you. I've raised my kids here. My last one just left for college this fall, so they've been a part of this town. We've been a part of what really you've helped create here. And I just want to thank you for standing strong, and being consistent, and God bless you.
Thank you so much.
Folks, before we continue, I've been advised by Public Safety that rightfully so, we have many, many people outside down the stairs that want to come in and pay homage to Supervisor Vecchio. So if anyone who spoke is willing to step out because of occupancy rules, we would appreciate it. Thank you.
So long, John. Thank you.
We're out to the streets.
Are they?
Yeah, downstairs and outside.
All right, thank you. Joanne Betts.
Hi, Supervisor. I speak on behalf of Dawn and I. I want to thank you for your service. We're here 30 years. I raised my children here. Because of you, they were able to buy homes and stay in Smithtown because of your fiscal conservatism. And I also want to thank you for organizing the 350. That was a wonderful time for Smithtown, celebrating what Smithtown is. And Supervisor, you are Smithtown.
Thank you. Joanna, we have to give some credit to Mr. Harris for the 350. Helen Matus. Wow. Need a lot of tissues here.
I have nothing to say for more for I heard for people, but one thing, I landing this country with immigrant, and I stay for Smithtown town, and I have any problem. I always get answer for a town, Mr. Supervisor for Pet Vecchio. He's never pushed down for me. He say, oh, you know how you do it. But he not say how, you know, just you know how you do it. but that's way for him. And I thank you very much for the 40 years friendship. And I look around, I not see too many 40 years friend like me. 40 years. But still I tell you, for I'm still for a friend, and I stay for a friend long for you and me alive. And I thank you very much again for 40 years, help for a town, and help for people, and help for stay for this town together. I hope for that stay, and you step down, but not like a loser. You step down, and you put up your head, and you say, 40 years, I do this town of best.
Thank you. Is Mr. Tanzi here?
There he is.
Good afternoon. Thank you. I was stuck downstairs. I wouldn't let anyone up. It's too full, too many people here to see the supervisor. Good afternoon, Town Board, Mr. Supervisor. My name is Tony Tanzi. I had the privilege of meeting Mr. Vecchio over 40 years ago. I was 8 years old. My family had a lumberyard in Kings Park. And Pat Vecchio was a customer, regular customer who came in. And I can remember the day like it was yesterday. I'm pretty certain the supervisor doesn't remember. I was an 8-year-old kid, and I was sitting on a forklift outside the lumberyard. And he walked up and he asked my family, he wanted to get the support of my grandfather, my uncles, and my father, and he asked if we'd put a big sign for him to run for supervisor for the town of Smithtown on the corner of our property right by the railroad station. And at 8 years old, you know, I'm sure I didn't really know what that meant, and looking at his enthusiasm, I don't think he did either. But it was something that we talked about. He left, my whole family went inside. I remember just standing there and watching my uncles and my grandfather saying, well, I don't know, should we do this? What if the people don't like it? What if we get in trouble? We have a business to run. And my grandfather said, I think he liked Pat, partly because he was Italian, and I think back in 1977, you didn't get a whole lot of Italians that spent 40 years in office. So he put the sign up, and then over time I watched the supervisor. I became friendly with him. And you know, we didn't always agree on things. Quite honestly, we disagreed a heck of a lot more than we agreed on things. But I always respected his opinion, and I truly, truly know in my heart that he believed in what he was doing. And he always put the town first. And that, to me, was an important thing, and I respected him a lot for that. And, you know, knowing that 40 years is gone in a blink, from a kid who grew up on the streets of Brooklyn, went to St. John's, Golden Gloves boxer, joined the Army, New York City Police Department, spending his time protecting one of the most important people in New York City. He made his mark on this town, on this world, long before he ever stepped foot in Town Hall in Smithtown. And I'm thankful that you're my friend. I'm thankful, I'm privileged to be able to call you Pat, but to me you'll always be Mr. Supervisor. And I want to say I admire your commitment. I applaud all of your achievements, and Mr. Supervisor, I thank you for all your service. Thank you.
Rich Masalaro.
Mr. Supervisor, this is from William Shakespeare's Julius Caesar, spoken by Mark Antony. Friends, Romans, countrymen, lend me your ears. I have come not to bury Caesar, I mean Supervisor Vecchio, but to praise him. Come I to speak in Vecchio's farewell. He was our friend, faithful and just to us. But Brutus says he was an ambitious man, and Brutus is an honorable man. He had brought much home to Rome, I mean Smithtown, whose funding did the general coffers fill. This is Caesar seem ambitious? When the poor have cried, Caesar had wept. Ambition should be of sterner stuff. I speak not to disapprove Brutus. You all see what he wanted to be, county executive. Was that ambition? But here I am to speak what I know. The best Republican is a former Democrat.
Not so wrong.
You all did love him once, not without cause. What cause would hold you then to celebrate him? The evil that men do lives after them. The good is oft interred with their bones. O judgment, thou wilt flee to brutish beast, and men who lost their reason. So they are all honorable men. Bear with me. Our hearts are in this farewell there to Brutus. Thank you, Mr. Supervisor.
Brad Harris, who served this town as a town historian and a councilman for many years.
12. Supervisor Vecchio, today is certainly an historic occasion. And as the town historian, I want to say a few words. And I promise you my remarks will be brief. That's very not much like me, but you've been our supervisor for 40 years. That fact in itself is remarkable and historic, since it makes you the longest-serving supervisor in our town's history, probably in the state and probably in the nation. You have done an outstanding job and made many progressive changes in the way our town is governed and run. You have been innovative in many programs, such as garbage recycling and energy consumption, and you've made Smithtown a model for other towns to follow. You have prepared 40 years of town budgets that have kept Smithtown solvent and debt-free. And most importantly, you have cut costs and kept taxes down. And you have shown us how to do that for 40 years. So on behalf of all the residents of Smithtown, I want to thank you for being our supervisor for so many years and wish you the best of luck and happiness in your retirement.
Thank you. John Fontana, he's also written down he's a taxpayer.
Definitely, you should be
I'm not officially going to speak for the taxpayers of this town, but I would like to say that what I feel is what they feel. You have done a fantastic job for 40 years. Thank you for your service.
Mary Zoff, League of Women Voters.
The League of Women Voters of Smithtown would like to thank you for all the work that you've done, and you've certainly been a big help to us. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Amy Fortunato.
Thank you. Today is remarkable and a memorable day for you, Supervisor Vecchio. Your service to our town is noteworthy. You are well known for returning phone calls, responding to letters and emails, patiently actually hearing from me at this lectern in this room, and you've even met with me in your office. Thank you. All those efforts have caused us to become friends, real friends, and I'm not just meaning social media or Facebook. I hope to meet with you to discuss Smithtown's future. I want to get on your calendar as soon as possible. Over the years, in your administration, you have had an important influence throughout Smithtown and on me. This summer, my family and I traveled to Europe, including Italy and the UK. We went to Florence, or in Italian, Firenze. The city is completely unique. The Palazzo Vecchio and the Ponte Vecchio are there. Of course, I thought of you while we walked across the bridge that shares your name. I found this information. The bridge was commissioned to be a beautiful and honorable, which is in the Middle Ages harmony, and was regarded as indispensable part of beauty. The Ponte Vecchio was originally built to defend the city. Later, the government of Florence rented space to the shopkeepers along the bridge to recoup the money spent on the building costs. Similarly, your service to Smithtown has been honorable, defending our residents, and you are notoriously thrifty. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
When my neighbors and I got involved in town issues, you commented that the ability to change is indispensable and a valuable quality. You referenced a quote, which I couldn't quite identify, but similarly, George Bernard Shaw said, "Those who cannot change their minds cannot change anything." I appreciate your flexibility and willingness to consider our concerns. Thank you for your service. I hope and pray you will enjoy some well-deserved time off and continue to share your wisdom and experience. Be blessed.
Thank you so much. Paul Hennings.
Mr. Vecchio.
Yes.
I am here for Senator John Flanagan, in addition to myself. He wanted me to express to you his sincere regrets that he couldn't be here himself. He's in the city, tried to rearrange his schedule, but he just could not. So he asked me to read a letter that he penned just yesterday. Dear Pat, on behalf of the New York State Senate, I wish to extend my congratulations and warm regards to you as you celebrate your distinguished career as the longest presiding supervisor in the state of New York. Your renowned career as a supervisor of the town of Smithtown since 1978 is a monumental achievement, and at a time of reflection on the many accomplishments of your tenure. As a dedicated and loyal public servant to the residents of the town of Smithtown, you have left an indelible mark on our community. You have endured many challenges and achieved much success over the course of your illustrious career. And your perseverance and compassion for others is truly inspiring. You have been tenacious in managing the town and have established many integral programs that benefit the community. Your advocacy, outstanding leadership, and commitment are truly worthy of our profound gratitude on this special day. I am honored to call you my friend and to pay tribute to a man who has devoted most of his life to the service of the people of the town of Smithtown. It is a privilege, along with your colleagues, family, and friends, to publicly recognize and thank you for your personal and public contributions to the residents of the town. I wish you joy, good health, and continued success in the future.
Thank you.
John.
Thank you.
And may I say personally, Pat, as you know, I'm a counselor at law, but I truly value the counsel that you have given me, so thank you.
Thank you. Joseph Sagers. Is that the right word?
Segresi?
Oh, Segazy, I'm sorry. Well, we'll go to the next one.
Okay, keep going.
Pat Bianconello.
I actually was not planning on speaking, but I had to because that's what I do. I speak. Although we haven't seen eye to eye all the time, I've been giving this a lot of thought about.
How about most of the time?
We haven't seen eye to eye most of the time.
Okay.
And listening to Mike Fitzpatrick, I never did get the victory. He got a slide. I didn't get anything. So thinking about what I was going to say today, I was reminded of that movie from years ago, To Sir with Love. I don't know if you remember it. Do you remember?
Poitier.
Sidney Poitier. And it reminds me of that song, How Do You Thank Someone? And even though we've had differences, and you didn't take me from crayons to perfume, you took me from budgets to the environment to Angel's Gate. I guess really I want to thank you. I want to say how much you meant to me and how much we wish, my family wishes for you and your family for the future.
Meg Schutka.
Good afternoon, Supervisor Vecchio and council members. Thank you so much for your many years of service. I was a CSEA member, not here in the town of Smithtown, but in the town of Brookhaven. I was also a local 852 officer. I am well aware of the contracts that you negotiated with the late Bill McCarrow, Doug Keltner, Kelly Brown. I know it wasn't easy, but they always came back and said you showed them tremendous respect. And I know they had tremendous respect for you. and I thank you for that.
Thank you.
I know negotiations are a tough thing. Being a resident of the town of Smithtown, I know I appreciated you keeping taxes low, but also being fair to the employees. I also want to thank you for the beautiful senior center that my late mom enjoyed for so many years. You took care of the seniors. You really did. You take care of the environment. You took care of the parks. You took care of the many things that we enjoyed in Smithtown. I moved back here in 1989 from Mount Sinai, and I always felt that Smithtown was my home. And it's because of you, Supervisor Vecchio, that you've kept it nice, and also the town council here. Supervisor-elect Ed Werheim, you have big shoes to fill, but I know you do well too. And again, thank you very much for your tremendous years of service. Enjoy your retirement. I'm a retiree from public service, and I'll tell you, it's awesome. It's awesome. You're going to love it. I wish you good health, and God bless.
Thank you. Mary Beth Siskin.
Good afternoon, Town Board and Supervisor Vecchio. I'm going to echo what many people have said. Thank you for taking the time to listen to my concerns, mainly about traffic, over the years, and to return my phone calls. Thank you for your piece on Channel 18 about how recycling operates, the plant that's used by Huntington and Smithtown. I enjoyed how you'd go through with a hard hat and explained how these things happen through recycling. Thank you for working hard to find a solution to the homes being flooded by Lake Ronkonkoma. I remember being here, and I really was impressed by how you showed concern to these homeowners. Thank you for your expertise with working on the town budget. Take longer vacations now. Become a consultant on how to create and manage a budget. As David Ambrose suggested, give County Executive Ballone some advice. God bless you.
Thank you.
Did you find Joseph?
Joseph Segazy. Well, let me just say one thing, please. Town of Smithtown is great. The employees make it that way, not me. Thank you. We have one more, Marty Thompson.
Hello, Pat.
Marty, how are you?
I'm surprised. I sat here and I saw a lot of people that must have forgot, but something should be said about your dedication to the fire service in this town. We have a fire training facility that is second only to the county fire center. I think I speak for all the firefighters in the town of Smithtown. Thank you so much for giving us that facility.
Thank you. Well, I thank you all.
Hold on, there's more.
More.
You can't not do it.
Sorry.
There's 3 people that want to speak on various town matters, not regarding the supervisor's retirement. Would you still like to speak, or would you like to put this to the next meeting?
Okay, what your name is? Yeah. Is it Christie?
Yes, Christine Malkasian.
Malkasian.
And I'd like to speak, Supervisor Vecchio, because 40 years of service as a almost 50-year resident of Smithtown, I've benefited immensely from your programs, your tax cuts, your great snow plowing, garbage pickup, everything. I've had a wonderful life and wonderful opportunities because I'm here. I'm not here to say goodbye and thank you as much as no good deed goes unpunished.
Right.
So you have you have a couple of weeks left, and what I would like you to do as a final act is privatize the Smithtown Animal Shelter. And I've got plenty of proof as to why this should be done. We are spending over, let's see, $5,799 per animal in the town shelter. If you look at Little Shelter, which is a wonderful nonprofit that does great work, they spend $1,957 per animal. We've all benefited for your thriftiness, and I think that privatizing the animal shelter would be a great way to go out to benefit the animals and the residents with lower taxes, lower budgeting, and better animal care. So thank you for that.
Well, I'm sure that Mr. Wareheim and the council will heed your advice.
Well, God help us then. Thank you anyway.
Turner Banchik.
No, he doesn't know. He's good. So.
Thomas Sternweiss? No. Sternweiss?
Yeah. Okay. That's in order.
Tom Sternweiss, 14 Gingerbread Road, Kings Park. Thank you, Mr. Vecchio, for your many decades of service to the town. What I'm here for is I'm asking the town board to take actions necessary to cause Chapter 160-5 of the Town Code to conform to the New York State Environmental Conservation Law, Section 110931, regarding the setback distance for the discharge of a longbow. The New York State Department of Conservation most favored method for addressing the overabundant deer in urban and suburban areas is traditional hunting, and the 500-foot setback now required in the town of Smithtown is a deterrent to hunting in the town. That's it.
I believe that's a DEC law, is it not?
Pardon?
That's a DEC law?
The DEC several years ago changed the setback distance from 500 feet to 100 feet for bow and arrow archery hunting. The town did not conform its requirements to the New York State law, which is not required to. I've got a couple of documents here, some excerpts for the board members, showing the recommendations of the DEC for reducing the setback in urban and suburban areas.
Okay.
Thank you.
I'm sure they'll take it up.
Okay.
So will you distribute that, please?
Thank you.
Mr. Supervisor,
Yes.
point of personal privilege. I would be remiss if I did not wish you all of the best of luck in your retirement. I met Supervisor Vecchio 40 years ago when he was first running for election. I did not vote for you, just so you know.
Thank you.
And I'm sorry I did not, because the supervisor has made this town, with the help of the town boards along the way, he has made this the best town in, I would say, in the United States. And as Legislator Trotter knows, if you've ever sat and been to a legislative meeting, 17 other legislators will say to you time and time again, right, Rob? What do you know about problems? You live in Smithtown. Well, we have heard that more than once. Mr. Supervisor, did I shut this off?
No, you're on.
Mr. Supervisor, as Christmas comes upon us, I have to just be reminded of Christmas mornings at my dad's house, when you used to come for those cheesecakes he made. Mr. Supervisor, you are always welcome at my house for Christmas morning, just don't expect the cheesecakes. You are entrusting this town to all of us on the town board. If we don't do the right thing, come and kick us. I wish you well. I thank you. I thank you for the last 4 years of respecting me as a councilwoman, listening to me, talking to me, guiding me. And I hope you enjoy your retirement along with Bernadine. Bernadine, good luck. Thank you, Mr. Supervisor.
Thank you. The long lost Mr. Joseph Jason.
Supervisor, hello. I just want to say thank you. Very quickly, 40 years ago, my family came here to town, and we moved in, and at the same time that year, there was a young, upstart, maverick guy that took on the establishment and won, and that was the beginning of an era for us. I've been in town for 30 years. My wife and I, we raise our children. I have a small business for 20 years, and I'm coming to a point now, this is an end of an era, and I'm sad to say that, you know, I've grown up in this town with you. My family's grown up here. It's a great place to live. It's a great place to work. I mean, I've traveled around the world. I've traveled around the States. Whenever I come home and we roll into Smithtown, it's like, I'm home now. It's nice. It's a comfortable place. So I want to give you thanks and say thank you. I'm sorry it's the end of an era, but, you know, life goes on, and I wish you all the best. And just want to say that. Thank you. Bye.
Supervisor Vecchio, I'd just like to say a few words. This is your day.
Eddie, I'm sorry.
Number one, I probably will not put my picture on the wall because I could never look as good as that picture of you right there. That's for sure. I just want you to know that I have big shoes to fill. I'm fully aware of that. I intend to do my best to do that, and it's my hopes that you frequent Town Hall anytime you want. We hope you're a frequent visitor, and hopefully you'll take my calls when I need your guidance. Thank you for your service, and God bless you.
Thank you.
Patrick, you're a dear friend. I met you in 1977. You were running for election. I was just a little kid working at the Parks Department. But you gave me the time of day. Later on, as I got a little older, I wrote you a $25 check, I think it was, for a campaign contribution. To this day, I never got a thank you from any other politician but you. Handwritten.
Thank you.
I want to thank you for allowing me to serve with you for the past 20 years. Mr. Gene Supervisor, Deputy Supervisor, Councilman Gene Canataro said once, and he said it to you in the watermill, Pat, you have a hand, and in life, you will not be able to fill that hand with 5 friends. You can count as friends. Gene said that to you.
Right.
I am saying that to you too, Pat,
Thank you
Mr.
so much.
Supervisor. Thank you. I love you.
Thank you.
Mr. Supervisor, I met you in 2012, where my neighborhood had a quality of life issue for many, many people. I reached out to the DEC, which I was told to do, and I wasn't getting much help. I reached out to your office after a few weeks of frustration, so I felt that frustration. And 1 hour later, you called. You called me back. You also called the other residents back. It meant a lot to us. We felt trust in you. We felt we got someone that's going to listen to us and help us through this quality of life issue. And you did just that. You, the rest of the board at the time, the town attorneys at the time, everybody did what it took to bring my neighborhood back to a healthy environment. And I want to thank you for that. We all thank you for that. Being as a council person now, you've been the most incredible mentor anybody could ever ask for. And I wish to thank you for that as well. My children wanted to be here so badly. I was going to take them out of school, but they're not feeling well, so they're home. But they wanted to be at the podium to thank you for bringing a lot of happiness to our neighborhoods and a healthy environment, and doing a lot for their mother. So thank you.
Thank you. You know, I have been in public service since I entered the military. left the military, joined a police department, left the police department, and joined the town of Smithtown. And so I've been in public service all of my life. And I can tell you, in my opinion, there's no greater reward than to serve your fellow human beings. No greater service. I thank all of you for coming here today, all of you for your support over the years. It is a great town, and it's great because of the people who we employ. We employ excellent workers, people who have the heart of the town in their minds at all times when they're doing their job. I know there are some people who think that we have failed or I have failed in certain instances over the years. I'd like to think not about that. I'd like to think that we served with good heart and good deeds for all the people who live here. And so the sentiments that have been echoed, how the folks that live here love to live here, and they find solace in the quality of life here. I'd like to think that I helped bring some of that with my colleagues. So, thank you all. Somebody said there's coffee and cookies in New York.
We're going to bring it in here.
Okay.
I'm going to
Good.
take a photo with you.
Sure.
All right with you? Take a photo?
Well, let me stand.
You want to sit down?
I'll just get down.
Feel real good.